Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. It's a brand new day, and of course, another opportunity, to give it a go again. As far as the push for better life, greater tomorrow. Reaching goals, attaining goals, pushing, for more is concerned. And today is the rest of the best of our lives, so we must make it count. Femi Ojo is my name. We told you last week we are going to be back here today, and thank God we are here on Morning Spring at Western Spring Television, where we see it as it is. You are welcome again. This is where we talk about everything that truly matters, in as much as about the public good, the Nigerian project for the Nigerian people, having a nation that we are all proud of. Good people, great nation. That is our concern here as we wake and we come to work on this program every day. The program is in segment. The newspaper headlines comes first, where we look at various headlines from our major dailies. And then at the other side of that, we then get talking. And that is exactly what we are going to do today in a more interesting way. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. And of course, good morning, Daniel.
Yeah, good morning, Femi.
How are you?
Oh, great.
How was the weekend?
Oh, absolutely fine.
That's good.
It's great to be alive.
That's good to know, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Monday morning. Good morning to you, our distinguished viewers from all over the world. Thank you once again for joining us this morning on it's a brand new day. It's a brand new week. It's a fresh start. Welcome once again to Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Emeka Daniel is my name. And like Femi said, it promises to be a great show. You do not want to miss any segment of the program. We have a lot to unpack for you. And quite a lot happened over the weekend. A lot happened, talking about in the global space right now, in the early hours of Sunday morning. I think it happened Saturday night, overnight, going to the early hours of Sunday morning, when the United States actually took that decision to strike Iran. Before now, Trump said, well, he will make his decision in 2 weeks. But absolutely, perhaps the 2 weeks meant 2 days for him, because in the early hours of Sunday morning, the news filtered in that the U.S. actually struck Israel. U.S. actually struck Iran, I beg your pardon. U.S. struck Iran in the Iran-Israel conflict. Of course, the U.S. hit their nuclear sites, talking about Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. It was a massive one. It came as a surprise to quite a lot of people globally, and now everyone is holding their breath. And talking about Iran, a lot is playing out right there, because their leader, their supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali, he can't do, if he does too little right now, he will lose face with the people, he'll be seen as weak. And if he does too much, he loses everything. Now it's not looking good for them. Their nuclear sites have been devastated, according to Donald Trump. Those sites were actually places not easy to reach for Israel because of their location. Fordo, for instance, is located in a mountainous site. We understand it's about 80 to 90 meters underground. So apparently Israel didn't have the weapons to reach them. But US had to use their MOPs, their massive ordnance penetrators. Each of those bombs weigh around 13,000 kilograms, or 30,000 pounds. And they can actually penetrate 61 meters of earth and 18 meters of concrete. So very powerful bombs. They use 14 of them, and also another 75 precision-guided weapons just to do that job. And Trump said they've actually obliterated, that was the word Trump used, Iran's nuclear sites. Again, like I said, the world is waiting. We just hope it doesn't escalate beyond that. They're telling Iran to stand down. Countries like UK, France are telling Iran just to stand down and do not escalate the situation at this time.
Exactly. So much, to look into. We said this last week and previous weeks, and I asked the question, when shall it be in the world that there will not be rumors of war, subtle wars, cold wars, and, these one that is on an international scale, and all of these things as well, for whatever it is. But then, not just on the global space, I will talk about the national space as well, and what is going on in Nigeria. for me, might not be the conventional war, but then something, in the war nature is happening. In fact, it is war against insurgency and banditry and all of those dimensions. And of course, there are communities having a go at themselves, one or two of them, the Asia and the Benue Plateau. But very worrisome is what, talking about what happened in Nigeria now, is what happened over the weekend, where some travelers,
the wedding guests,
were ambushed. Again, they left Zaria in Kaduna State on their way to Kwampan, and around Mangu, they were ambushed. Their vehicles, and then whatever they said didn't count. They were
murdered.
killed, murdered again. And they were supposed to be wedding guests, going to a family member's wedding. And, it's a lot. And many persons are speaking about that as well.
We understand the father and the brother of the groom were even among the ones
two
killed.
brothers of the groom, and then the father and the uncle. So that was a whole clan. Some members of a clan being wiped off and murdered by, some assailants. We understand there are some arrests as well. The Northern Governors Forum is speaking. Everybody is speaking on the matter. The Plateau State Governor, on whose territory this happened, has spoken. But then the questions people are raising. Now, killing, especially extrajudicial killing, for whatever reasons, has no place, in humanity, in our laws as well. So whatever people's reasons are, I'm not sure the law will give any, available opportunity to say, oh, you can do this, especially when it's now about self-defense. Now, these are the issues. Suspicion, I think, is a problem around here. And on unaddressed grievances, what happened again 2 weeks, 2-3 months ago in Edo State, where some travelers left Port Harcourt of northern origin on their way to Kano. They were
the hunters
as well, said to be hunters, different narratives. But the thing is, some hoodlums murdered them, or youth vigilantes in that place. And it gives rise to the fact that there is this way that people are looking everybody through some level of suspicion, especially, oh, do you speak this language? You must be bad for us. And because of issues like this that we have been seeing that have not been addressed. Now, for people, now in Edo State, many persons in that place condemned the thing. We condemn it as well. But some say that that particular stretch of road is notorious for kidnapping. And, some people are known to do that. So when these hunters left Port Harcourt, and they said some of them were saying with guns, and because of the language they spoke, it made suspicion to arise in that place. Terrible. Stand condemned. Now, it happened. Some left Zaria on their way to, Plateau State, Kwampan. Somewhere they were in Plateau already, in Mangu, and this, I remember Mangu as being a very troubled community, and all of those. So, at the appearance of some persons that don't speak their language, and in which they are alleged to be the ones who usually perpetrate some evils, some antennas will always come up, and terrible, stand condemned as well. And these are some of the things that is happening. Now, the question is, the day I'm going to pass, what becomes my lot? Anytime I'm passing a community that I don't speak their language. And possibly people who spoke my language allegedly might have done something to them before. And the moment they see us in a group and we don't speak their language, then they become suspicious, and then woe can betide anyone. That means if you're an Igbo man and you are going across the northern strait, for example, and possibly one of your language people, some of them have done something in that place before, then you become a target. The same thing that goes for the northern and around here. The same thing goes for me, Yoruba man, if I'm passing through the middle belt and some of these things. And this calls for something, failure of government to do the right thing, to arrest perpetrators, to eliminate the ones that deserve elimination. Anytime this kind of thing arises, instead, people will suck it up, and then there is no closure, and they are waiting for the day that they will, get a grip of somebody that resembles who they are looking for.
For reprisals. Quite unfortunate.
And hell will break loose.
It seems as though...
And most of the time, these things are done on the innocent, because those guys don't live there.
Absolutely. They're just travelers.
Travelers.
Again, it seems as though...
If it had happened to those persons, who knows who it will happen to the moment you travel out of your territory.
We are
this is a serious matter.
Gradually degenerating into a jungle.
Yeah,
I mean...
a banana republic.
That's a problem. So when some people say Nigeria is a failed state, they have their reasons. Are we living in a jungle?
Exactly.
Where human beings can just be killed, murdered, for no reason. As if you're killing animals.
The moment you just don't feel good about them, then they deserve to die.
It doesn't make any sense.
Same happened in Benue. Some persons wreaked havoc, burnt human beings alive.
But this wedding guest, this one that happened over the weekend, this guy, they were not even armed for God's sake.
There's been no story about that already. You know, that's what I spoke about. The moment you look like those persons that possibly have been alleged to have done something in a particular place before, and somebody says, oh, he speaks that language.
You need to pay for it.
You must pay for it. And if it had happened in that place, the day that some persons will allegedly, do something in a particular place and they go free with it, and that community will be waiting, should be your people will pass. So if everybody will, and because this is becoming a pattern, Daniel, this is how it starts.
Absolutely.
It has started. We saw it there.
Worrisome. Our government...
And the northern region have been the one to suffer for these particular instances now. So what happens across here when you travel there? These are some of the issues as well. Absolutely. Especially perpetrators are not identified and prosecuted along the lines of the justice. It doesn't matter, oh, don't let us touch these people, they might not vote for us. No political expedience is the problem here. And there are calculations everywhere.
Here.
And you throw your people under the bus, you don't seek justice for them, and they are waiting. If it takes 10 years, they will wait.
Absolutely. They won't forget.
How can they forget? What happened in Benue that you saw scores of people being broken, humans being burnt alive, and you are telling those people, oh, sorry, let's live together in peace and harmony. Are you joking? Which peace and harmony are you talking about? Without justice. People ask for justice. I mean, they ask for peace without justice. How can that happen? And these are some of the things that we should take into consideration as a people, as a government, and do better. And this stands condemned, by the way. Our thoughts and prayers are with those people that are so far that lost. On the international scale, something terrible is brewing. We hope it doesn't get past this particular stage.
Absolutely.
I saw the reaction of Yemen yesterday saying they are in for it now. And they have a territorial water.
Yemen and the Houthis.
The Houthis, they have a territorial waters that is of global economic significance.
The Straits of Hormuz.
And they are telling nobody, Americans, let your ship not pass here because you will suffer disaster. And this is what is happening. And when I saw the Yemen on the social space, you will see expressions like small something, they shake. I can't mention that here. Like Yemen too, whatever it is. Then when Yemen picks it up, and then there are some persons who will pick it up, the United States might be fine. Israel is under, is fighting different wars at the moment.
At the same time, yeah.
And then at the end of the day, so somebody asked the question yesterday, and I think we should round off with it. He said, which camp does Nigeria belong? Oh. People told him...
Ben Bruce said it, Senator Ben Bruce.
That's a silly question.
Senator Ben Bruce, Senator Ben Bruce, he said he foresees a World War III, a third World War, but Nigeria will be safe. That Nigeria will be open to welcome, what do you call them again? Refugees from the United States,
Nigeria?
Israel. that's what Ben said. That Nigeria will be safe.
I think he used to be known for making sense of that.
I just want to make common sense.
Common sense. You are a refugee. Let us just battle with our own Benue and Plateau, and everybody will work it out and be fine. For those people. I beg to say, as for me, and maybe I can speak for people on this program, we belong to nobody. In Buhari's word,
absolutely.
I belong to nobody. I belong to everybody.
We belong to peace in nuclear weapons
of the world. Which side are we taking? Excuse us. We have a lot on our plate already. A lot to really talk about. Stay with us. Right, the newspaper segment is next on this program, and these are some of the things that we are following for you at this time. Daily Trust has these. Daily Trust, Plateau killings, death toll hit 13 as survivors narrate ordeal. Victims buried in Mangu and Kwampan. Plateau killings, death toll hit 13 as survivors narrate ordeal. Victims buried in Mangu and Kwampan. That will be all from the Daily Trust.
From the Daily Trust newspaper, we move to the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Hope for Nigeria's troubled fiscal outlook as oil prices head to $80. Hope for Nigeria's troubled fiscal outlook as oil prices head to $80 per barrel. Talking about oil prices, global oil prices. Again, like we mentioned it last week, as a result of the crisis, prices of oil has gone up. Brent crude, for instance, has gone up. Let us see what happens this week, because this latest strike, the U.S. strike on Iran, took place over the weekend. The markets were closed for the weekend. So let's see how it will affect the markets this week. So a lot of traders are just waiting and watching to see the direction of the market going forward this week. But so far, it's looking good for Nigeria based on the price of crude compared to what we budgeted for. That's the analysis, the projections made for the budget and the current price now. But again, at the end of the day, if crude prices keep rising globally, it will affect the end users. That's the point. So even if it means more money for the federal government, of course, it will be more money to be spent on the part of the end user. Because again, you factor in the cost of transportation, refining, logistics, and all that. So pump prices might actually go up as well. So that's the banner red line right there. You see that story, find that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And right below that, we see Sanwo-Olu to meet APC stakeholders ahead of LG polls. Sanwo-Olu to meet APC stakeholders ahead of local government polls. You find that story on page 7. And also below that, we have cloudburst. Ogun government urges calm as lightning kills 32 cows. Whoa. Quite interesting. Cloudburst. Ogun government urges calm as lightning kills 32 cows. I mean, what kind of lightning could that be? 32 cows in one fell swoop?
That's a deadly lightning.
Oh, thank God no human lives were lost in that. But that's quite terrible for 32 cows to be killed. Just imagine that kind of lightning striking in a residential community.
I'd rather stop imagining.
Quite unfortunate. 32 cows gone right there. You find that story on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. And below that, we have Obi Atiku decry rising insecurity as Tinubu northern governors condemn killings. Obi Atiku decry rising insecurity as Tinubu northern governors condemn killings. You find that story on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And I'm still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Israel-Iran tensions shake markets. Oh, I was just talking about that just before we started the newspaper review. Israel-Iran tensions shake markets. We're going to see the full effect of that as soon as the market opens for trading this week. And below that, we see oil and energy. We see crude oil surges by $14. Crude oil surges by $14. That's an increase of $14 already. Then we have precious metals and safe haven currency. Precious metals and safe haven currencies. Of course, you have gold. Gold prices jump. Then safe haven demand. Gold is seen as a safe haven for most investors. Now that we're having tension in the Middle East, prices, of course, have skyrocketed, have jumped already. Talking about precious metals and safe haven currencies. And below that, we have equities. Equities too. Global stocks tumble. Talking about equities, we see the downward movement there. You can see the arrow pointing downwards. So global stocks tumble, all as a result of the crisis in the Middle East. You can check out the analysis right there on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And moving towards the top strip right now, we have ECOWAS, bio to champion democracy, security, regional reform. You find that story on page 4. Away from that, APC silent as PDP dismisses formation of ADA. APC silent as PDP dismisses formation of ADA. Talking about the new political party. Last week, Thursday, a new political party propped up, came up. I saw the official letter written to INEC, and INEC has actually acknowledged the receipt of that letter right there, talking about the formation of a new political party. Before now, the coalition, well, they've been talking about adopting a party, but unfortunately, they couldn't do that. They talked about, first it was SDP, they tried SDP, they dropped it. Then again, they started winning ADC. But from ADC now, they've decided to form a brand new political party, ADA. We'll be talking about that, more about that in the course of the program today. You find that story on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And right beside that, Lamido differs with Inyam over Tinubu's role in June 12 annulment. Lamido differs with Inyam over Tinubu's role in June 12 annulment. You find that story on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we move to the bottom strip right now, the bottom strip of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Insecurity escalates in Yenagua. Judge abducted. Quite unfortunate. Insecurity escalates in Yenagua. Judge abducted rather. Man confesses to killing toddler. You find that unfortunate story on page 12 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And finally, from the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Nigeria losing $500 million yearly to abandoned containers at ports. That's according to SEREC ones. You find that story on page 5. Nigeria loses $500 million yearly to abandoned containers at ports. And that'll be all from the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Guardian newspaper to the Vanguard. The Vanguard for today. Insecurity, Tinubu, others action on insurgents, plateau killings. Insecurity, Tinubu, others action on insurgents and plateau killings. And away from that, Iran votes no close Strait of Hormuz after U.S. strikes on nuclear facilities. Iran votes to close Strait of Hormuz after U.S. strikes on nuclear facilities. So much for the global economy there. That will be all from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
And from the Vanguard newspaper, we see the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. From the front page of the Punch newspaper, we just take the top strip right there. We have pastoral crisis. 11 states embrace FG ranching plan as killings surge. Pastoral crisis. 11 states embrace federal government ranching plan as killings surge. That'll be all from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Exactly, and there is this adage around here. Not an adage, it's a public, analogy. And when they tell you that biting, right, when you use your teeth to bite, is part of fighting. Especially when you are younger. That if you see somebody that's more powerful and that can give you very, very severe blows, and you can't just power that person. The moment you get a hold of any part of that person's body, you bite hard, and the person will shout, and blood will come out. At that point, you are the winner, and then you run away. Now, this is what comes to mind when Iran voted, agree with Yemen that the Strait of Hormuz should be closed. Everything anybody can use as retaliation, as a fight. Now, this one is not primarily about guns. It's about the economy. It happened as well a few months ago, like a year ago, when the Houthi rebels were attacking, any vessel or ship that they deem to be enemy in nature. Now, as it is right now, there is another end that they take on the waters that is possibly longer, more costlier.
Yeah, there's a longer route.
Route and all of those things. And, it will have a global economic consequences. And of course, it will have the security tendencies as well, because the Houthis are there and they are daredevils. They don't care if they die or not. They are just there. Very terrible,
very stubborn.
Terribly minded and, whatever. Although it depends on who you are asking. They believe that's the just cause for them to fight for, and they keep attacking. Many vessels were lost. So for anybody aligning with Israel, automatically they become their enemy. Be it the global West, the UK, the US. In fact, the US is #1 enemy, by the way, the Israel as well, the UK, all of these, nations and whatever they represent. These are the issues as well, because they feel it's their waters, so they will do as they deem fit. Although they have been attacked as well, and that's on so many times, but that's what they think they can do to show their displeasure on what is happening. Now, for how long can they hold out? Is another question.
But again, talking about the Straits of Hormuz, the Straits of Hormuz controls about a quarter of the crude oil transportation globally.
Right.
So if Iran should shut it down, it will affect global economy. It will impact global economy, and it will also affect them as well. It will affect Iran. China, for instance, is the greatest, biggest buyer of crude from Iran. So it will affect China as well. It will affect Iran. It will affect everyone. So it won't look good for anyone. So everyone will pay for it.
I'm sure people on the street in Nigeria will say, make China no worry. Nigeria will supply.
Nigeria that is complaining of not having, even Dangote in Nigeria is complaining of not getting enough crude. Dangote is importing from the US.
My brother, when we are ready to do business, we'll do business.
The crude will come out.
Forget oil, not just, is it not crude? Small crude here and there. But then the thing is, away from the jokes is, if Nigeria will be serious and tackle oil theft, there is so much.
Absolutely.
That's just the thing. And since like in the last 25 years, I've been hearing oil theft. Actually, since I know that there is something called oil.
Some people are milking Nigeria.
That's just the thing.
They are milking Nigeria.
And so in 2025, if we are still talking about oil theft, when actually the Aramco in Saudi, by the means of tech, is a global, it's a global and a public knowledge information.
Absolutely.
That every ounce, every drop of blood is accounted for. And anybody can see. You can see how these things are being done, refined, sent, distributed, and all of those. Nothing is missing. That is every oil, every drop of oil. But in Nigeria, this particular oil sector, the more you try to look, the less.
A lot of people have their pipes connected to it.
You go
just
blind.
Milking Nigeria directly connected to the source.
Yeah.
just milking Nigeria.
I remember like a year ago when one was discovered by Antita guys. The government people who have the contract to supervise, and you can see the valve connected to a national pipeline.
Talking about Antita.
I have been told that that must have gone, for years. And in fact, somebody said 4 years. The thing is, that person that said 4 years, how did he know when that thing got there?
That was when he started some business.
Possibly that is when he got the knowledge. These are some of the issues. What happened to technology? The way these things are being done.
Our leaders are not serious. When we get leaders who are serious about protecting the wealth,
this is the part where we should be smiling now. Now that there is, issue in the Strait of Hormuz and in the Middle East and all of those things. And any nation that can produce and run good business should make some money, a very good sum of money. Not because you want the problem to continue, but then what can we do? These are the issues. We'll take a quick break right now. When we return, are we about to have actually the birth of another mega party? Will it just be a merger or end up as a coalition? Now that some, politically exposed persons, politicians from different parts of the divide are coming together to put up a party called All Democratic Alliance. What would that be? Would they give APC a run for their money? Does the PDP stand a chance? And the very important question is this: all of these people that are gathering, aligning, getting support, and having meetings upon meetings, on whose interest is all of these? Is it because they want a better Nigeria? It's just about power. You will be the one to answer that question. But then all of these will be discussed in the course of the program today. Stay with us.